Well, the African Development Bank Group is set to elect new leadership this week. The bank's annual gathering is set to kick off in Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire. South Africa backs Bajabulile Swazi Tshabalala to succeed the outgoing President Akinwumi Adesina. There are 4 other candidates, including Zambia's Maimbo. Well, Khayelihle Khumalo is there, and let's get more from him. So, South African in the running, obviously. There's lots of contestation on this particular position. Talk to us about it. Who else is in the running, and what do our chances look like, Khaya?
Well, absolutely, and it's been quite a very intensive lobbying period. I mean, at the recently held Africa CEO Forum, we saw South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa right in Abidjan, but we do understand that also during that particular period, there was quite a very important time for South Africa to present its own candidate, Ms. Tshabalala. So they do say that she does have the know-how. She's been around here within the bank. She's a former vice president. In fact, she'll resign just to really push her campaign and really just selling her candidature to so many countries right here in the African continent. But also, Leanne, it comes at a very critical time globally with a number of geopolitical challenges. We know that with the aid being cut off, a number of countries were affected here in sub-Saharan Africa. So this is a very crucial time for the new leadership of the African Development Bank to look at the domestic resources, how they can mobilize these resources for a number of African countries, but also tackling a myriad of challenges that are facing the African continent, from the issues of debt sustainability in terms of making sure that they're able to absorb all these shocks, but also a very tough global environment. Also, you look at a number of issues around climate change, really having a knock-on effect in so many countries right in Africa. So we've seen Ms. Tshabalala really selling her candidature and really talking about her new vision, a bold vision. But of course, there are other candidates as well, Leanne. We know that Zambia does have Mr. Maimbo, and they do say that also he's quite fit and proper. He has been working for the World Bank, so he knows the issues of development. So there are other countries as well that have fielded their own candidates as well. So a very crucial time for the African Development Bank, Leanne, especially because we know that it's quite important for the African countries to count on their own resources as opposed to looking at other institutions, like, for example, IMF and World Bank. So they always say that this is quite a very important partner for the African continent in pushing development, but also making sure that they're able to meet their targets when it comes to the social progress as well.
Khayelihle, obviously we know that it begins today, but when will we find out, once the voting and all of that is done, who actually assumes that position?
Well, absolutely, and so it's going to be a bit of a long haul. We do understand that the actual elections will take place on the 29th of May, but this is the period where we're expecting the conference itself to kick off here in Abidjan. Quite a very important place here in West Africa. You know that it does have a very important port where a number of countries, the likes of Mali and Burkina Faso, they do really count on this particular port for the movement of good, and it comes at a very important time, Leanne, in the context of making sure that the continent really is pushing ahead and putting that impetus in terms of the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. But something of significance, Leanne, we saw just during the past week or so, where we saw the fake news really circulating, where there were some reports that there is a potential coup, but the Ivorian authorities, they've been quite steadfast in saying that such reports are not really true, and everything is working in this country. You know, everything is fairly normal. There is no instability whatsoever. But of course, elections will happen on the 29th of May.
Right, Khayelihle, enjoy the what is going to be quite a robust meeting, and we look forward to getting your reports on this one. Khayelihle Khumalo, who is reporting for us there, where the African Development Bank is electing new leadership this week. It's taking place in Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire.